but where do you see young boys playing a role in helping young women build their confidence? Because I see young men have got a confidence crisis. I think they've got a purpose crisis. But my belief is that we can give men purpose when we build a message around them, something bigger than whatever it is they're about to achieve, or something bigger about themselves. It kind of goes back to your values, being value based and driven. And I think having men step up to the plate and help women is something we need more of. But I'm curious to know, and I'd love to know what you think about how do men help support women and be more confident.
I think men and boys can be a huge part of the solution and unfortunately sometimes a part of the problem with this decline in participation rates for women and girls. I think if we start to be really mindful of our language and do away with things like you throw like a girl, you run like a girl, being a criticism, and mindful of our actions. So, a young girl in an audience yesterday said to me the reason she dropped out of sport was that experience of a boy not passing the ball to her in physical education class during a basketball match. So, that is one small action that you can do to build a girl's confidence. Just by passing her the ball in that game, it's that vote of trust, that vote of confidence that I know that you have the skill to get this ball into the basketball hoop or whatever it may be. So there's language, there's actions, and involving them, welcoming them in, making sporting environments rather than filled with fear and judgment and being an exclusive place, broadening them to welcome all different kinds of people. I remember as a school kid, the norm on the school oval was that the boys would be playing footy and soccer in the middle of the oval, and then the girls would be sitting in circles, gossiping or speaking around the perimeter of the oval. And I always thought I would love to get up and play with the boys, but there'd almost always be a barrier to that, whether that was a comment from someone or if there was no barrier, there was no one was reaching out and saying, "Why don't you come in? We'd love it if you played with us." So that's just a small example. If boys are on the school oval and they can be more welcoming and encouraging of girls getting up and joining in. And, there's always going to be anatomical and physiological differences between boys and girls. A lot of the time, the girls are saying, well, I'm worried to participate because I'm physically smaller and not as strong. And how would I go in a tackle? And sometimes those things are unavoidable. I mean, I'm 5'1" and would not go well in a tackle if I was playing school footy today. So there are some things, that are different between boys and girls, but that ability to participate, all of those intrinsic benefits of physical activity and how deserving we are of a place on the sporting field doesn't differ.
I think and especially if we lean into the sort of 20s and 30s, I don't know if you've come across Scott Galloway's work and a lot of what he's been talking around about the masculinity movement and what it is, the idea of what it is to be a man now in society. And I'm fascinated by this because mainly I deal with a lot of young boys and I work with them and whether it's in our work or just having conversations with them in schools or in teams or whatever it is, that they are lost. They really are lost at the moment. They while women, we've spoken about women having a confidence crisis, there is a confidence crisis in young men as well. And I think it's really important that we do have confident men because I think good, strong, confident men build up everyone around them. I think about what I want to do in my life, and my version of success is leaving people in a better place than how I found them. So my goal is to literally leave people in that. And I don't think that many men fall far away from that. I think they want to help people. They want to, but we've somewhere left them behind. So kind of on the reverse of this, how do you think women can best support men in building their confidence and build a sense of them being a strong man?
Hmm. I think we've come in leaps and bounds in the last decade or decades in terms of reimagining what it means and what it looks like to be a woman or a girl. But I was saying that I feel like feminism has failed the boys and men to a certain extent, whilst those options of what it means to be a girl are broadening. Sometimes I feel like options for what it means to be a boy or a man have stayed quite narrow. And so perhaps, with no experience of it myself, perhaps young boys feel very stuck with those stereotypes of being big and strong, loud, the protector, needing to provide financially. I'm not sure. All of those layers of expectation. And that must feel suffocating just as much as young girls have been the opposite. They've been expected to be as small as possible and as shy and as quiet as possible and lacking ambition. So we need to now start broadening those ideas of what it means to be a confident, great man or boy. And I think women who are creative and imaginative and who are currently experiencing this shift and this empowerment can hopefully help men and boys do the same. I mean, the best men and boys that I know are confident and soft at the same time. It's that careful balance of not necessarily needing to be loud and aggressive and dominating a room in order to be confident. Um, People like my dad and my partner and close family friends who are men who inspire me, they know who they are driven, they are inspiring, they are confident, whilst at the same time holding space for others in a room and bringing others up and leaving them better off, just as you were saying your goal is.